President Bola Tinubu has ordered the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, to review the charges brought against some underage children before the Federal High Court in Abuja. Tinubu on Friday ordered the AGF to review the cases and make recommendations accordingly after the underage children were accused of bogus charges for participating in the nationwide #EndBadGovernance protest in August. The protesters, who were arrested during the August 1st to August 10th #EndBadGovernance demonstration, were brought to a federal high court in Abuja. While 4 of them, including 2 minors, slumped and were taken to the hospital, 114 of them were granted 10,000 naira, 10 million naira bail, each with 2 shorties each in like sum. Justice Obiora Oguatu admitted them to bail after hearing the defense lawyer's application and the prosecution's submission. In a statement on Friday night, Lateef Fagbemi, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, said he had directed a transfer of the case file from the police. He added that the process to bring the adjournment forward has begun. In the meantime, the Nigerian Police Force says it is rigorously adhering to legal provisions to ensure fairness and accountability under the rule of law in managing the detention and arraignment of the 76 suspects. The Nigerian Police Force Public Relations Officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, in a statement said the 76 individuals were arraigned in court over charges including terrorism, arson, and treasonable felony. While responding to questions regarding the arraignment of minor #EndBadGovernance protesters at the Federal High Court in Abuja, Adejobi explained that not children above the age of 7 can be charged to court. Earlier, the federal government's counsel, Rimizote Ezekiel, claimed that some of the 76 minors arraigned for the #EndBadGovernance protests are adults, claiming that some of them have wives who appeared in court with their parents.
All of them are adults. Most of them are married men. None of them is a minor. Some of them are university graduates. The small kids you are seeing here, they came with some of their parents to come and greet their loved ones. They are not even the real suspects standing trial in this case. These boys were arrested in Kaduna and Zaria. Imagine the level we find ourselves now. Do you know how much it costs us to be at this level of a democracy in this country? These young boys are trying to destabilize Nigeria using the Russian flags and other countries, calling on the military to remove our president. Is it fair to even remove the state governors that they don't want democracy again? If you don't like democracy, are we forcing you? You go back home and sit.
Some very interesting comments there from the legal for the government. News Center's Emmanuel Bagudu, who was at the court yesterday, now joins us to give us more update. Emmanuel, many thanks. I mean, you heard from the legal counsel there for the federal government. And I have to ask the statements that he made there, starting with the fact that, I mean, he alleged that some of the boys are married, and that qualifies them as adults. And so does that mean that even a girl who marries at 12 years old is also an adult? Emmanuel?
Well, that police prosecutor, I think something is wrong with him because it's so irritating. When we're asking him those questions, when he was fielding those questions from journalists, it appears so irritating that journalists cannot even continue listening to him, because you need to see the unfortunate situation, the gory situation in court. He is so insensitive, I believe, because what we notice there versus what he's telling us, makes us look as if we don't know what we're doing. Not him alone. We also have another police prosecutor, Audu Garba, who claimed that none of the minors were sick. In fact, Audu Garba told us that it is the defense counsel that is talking about the likes of Deji, accusing them that they are the ones that are actually, making the minors to pretend as if they are sick. So these are very insensitive comments that, irritates people, and then, make Nigeria to be seen as if it is so low in its human rights index internationally. People who are married, yes, there are some who are married among those people, among those those accused. But there are few. There are few. You can see that they were the minors were kept on one side while the adults were kept on one side. The minors are numbered up to 76. 76. The people that were brought in total, I calculated a total of 163 accused persons, and I confirmed from a correctional center officer from Kuje. He told me that he brought 87 adults from Kuje prison, while 76 were brought from the IRT office. So why is the issue of being married here? That's what is it's still begging. These are questions that are still begging for answers and so irritating. And Nigerian government has to do something about it.
They've also claimed that the Prosecution Council, correct me if I'm wrong, he claimed that most of the boys that we saw were visitors in the court. Tell us more. Is it true that they were just visitors? Emmanuel,
sorry, I didn't get your question very well. I didn't get it clearly. Is it true that?
I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the Prosecution Council claimed that most of the boys that we saw in the court were visitors. Because you just said 76 out of the total number were minors, and they're claiming most of those minors were visitors to the court. Is this true or false?
It's false. It's capital false. Because I shared a video, you saw the video I shared, where about 50 minors were docked. Docked simply means they are placed in the accused box inside the court, 50. Those that couldn't enter the accused box in the court were asked to sit on the floor inside the court. So the man is lying, it's false.
Did you have a chance to speak to their parents as well? I mean, did any of their legal counsel, legal guardians, I beg your pardon, were they there? Were the parents there? And what was it like, the mood for just watching the parents and the legal guardians for this young boys or young men, watch them go through such harrowing experience?
Yes, I spoke to two parents, one from Kano and one from Zaria. They spoke to me in Hausa. They told me that their children were just at home, just in front of their houses, when they were picked and thrown inside the police vehicle and taken straight to the police station, and then later transported to Abuja. That was what one of the fathers told me. Another woman told me her husband died after the protest. Her husband died just before the protest. It was during the process that she remarried. She's carrying a baby. She just sent her son to go and buy her something in the market. The boy was just coming back on that day, and he was picked on that day of the protest, and he was picked and thrown inside the police vehicle. That is what they told me. A lot of parents came in to seek bail for their children, travel far and wide. I met a man from Abuja who told me he stays in Abuja, and he's currently hosting 19 parents in his home who came, to rescue their children from the hands of the Nigerian police. That is what they told me. So I spoke to a lot of parents. Parents were there, sympathizers were there, neighbors were there, siblings were there, to see how their words will be taken out of incarceration.
All right. Well, I mean, Emmanuel, I must say thank you. And I can only imagine what your mind frame was at just watching the whole scene unfold yesterday. And well done. And thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We switch gears now to the education sector, as the federal government has released funds to settle outstanding salaries owed to members of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Federal Universities. The funds are also to pay benefits to retirees under the Nigerian Union of Pensioners Contributory Pension Scheme. In a statement on Saturday by Bawa Mokwa, Director, Press and Public Relations, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, he confirmed that payments to NASU members have commenced, with many already confirming receipt. The OAGF reaffirmed the government's commitment to the welfare of Nigerian workers and retirees. On Monday, the Joint Action Committee of SANU and NASU embarked on an indefinite strike over its 4 months withheld salary. And now joining us on the news to react to this is the immediate past SANU chairman for Unilag chapter, Ola Shit. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Let's get started, shall we? What is your assessment of the federal government's recent release of funds to settle outstanding salaries? Have any members of your organization or union, I beg your pardon, received payment so far?
Well, thank you very much. Let me just first of all confirm that there is receipt of certain money. And it's just the federal government is owing us 4 months. 1 month has actually been released. And this is not what we actually bargained. This is just a sign of insensitivity of the federal government to the plight of the members of the public. We have been suffering and we have been crying on this. It is not too good and our people are not very happy. We are thinking that we have resolved this. The presidency has given the approval that these funds should be paid over 3 or 6 months. Yet nothing has been done. We are gone on protests, and we have actually done some demonstration afterwards. We are asked to come back. Yet nothing is done. 1 month out of 4 months. If you now look at it, how sensitive the government is. Government does not even regard us. The populace, the government, the way they are treating us as if we are not relevant. Because if you look at it, when they were owing us this money, it was 186 naira per liter of fuel. Now, if you go to a filling station now, it's about 1,050 naira, 1,200 naira. Compare what the fuel will be now. Understand? This money is nothing. Yet right. You are still owing us. The real value of the money has been eroded away. And yet you are still owing us. You are making the workers to suffer. And I'm telling you, people are not happy. People are not really happy. You are just giving the public misinformation that you are paid some money. How much do you pay? You are owing us 4 months. Yet there are other demands that are there. It's not only salaries. There are other demands that are not yet met. Why these demands are not so difficult for you to meet? But why? We believe that we are not feeling the dividend of democracy, and we believe that it is not what the presidency met that is going on.
Mr. Sherman,
and there's something fishy.
I have to ask you very quickly, right? You just said that it's just 1 month salary that's been 1 month out of the 4 month salary that's already been paid. So what steps do SANU want to take next to ensure that all that they are fully paid as promised? How will the union mobilize its members to ensure and force the government to hold their own part of the bargain and pay the full arrears that's owed?
What I know is that our national leaders are not sleeping, and there's an emergency meeting about to commence any minute from now to decide on the next action to be taken. But I'm telling you, the fillers in the universities, Federal University in Lagos especially, and other federation, because we have been calling here and here, what is going on here, where is going on there, is that people are not happy. We are not just happy. We cannot wait this long, understand? And yet you are still showing that sign of insensitivity. The money is not there. The money does not make any sense again. What 1,000 can buy 42 years ago, it cannot buy it now.
Right. So with the dissatisfaction, displeasure, and just the insensitivity of the government and the insatisfaction and displeasure from the union members, do you see a united front in achieving your demands? Will there be a united front? Do you foresee a united front after the meeting happens in the next coming
yes.
hour?
I think currently now, I think the forces are more united than before. Now that everybody is in, there is all the forces, the ASU, NASU, SANU, NAT, all the forces in the universities are now working together. And I feel that it is all for the good of the students, it's all for the good of the workers, and it's all for the good of the university at large. I'm telling you that at the end of the day, I believe that once the government feel that yes, if I just give it to government of the Bola Tinubu, I believe that something will be done as quick as possible. Because I'm telling you, the members are not happy. We are not happy.
All right.
We are feeling distressed. Yes, we are not happy.
I must say thank you so much.
And I believe that something done urgently. I believe that maybe they want to pay it every two days or something like that. I don't know. But they have their plans, I want to thank God that at least they have started.
All right.
Let them do something.
Only time will reveal what their plans will be. But Ola Shit,
Yes.
I must say thank you so much for taking out the time this morning. He's a past chairman, SANU chairman for the UNILAG chapter, and he just joined us to react to the news as federal government releases funds for NASU salaries and retirees benefits. You're watching news now on News Central TV. We go on a short break. When we return, tax reform bills as Tinubu rejects calls for withdrawal from National Assembly. We'll bring you details of this and more after the break. Join us again. President Bola Tinubu says the tax reform bills would not be withdrawn from the National Assembly. He rather explained that the bills should go through the legislative process. The special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, disclosed this in a statement. According to the statement, President Bola Tinubu received the National Economic Council's recommendation that the tax reform bills already sent to the National Assembly be withdrawn for further consultation. The Nigerian leader also commended the National Economic Council members, especially Vice President Kashim Shettima and the 36 state governors, for their advice. And now to security. Nigeria's acting Chief of Army Staff, Major General Olufemi Oluyinde, has called for support from stakeholders to fulfill the mandate of the Nigerian Army till the return of his principal, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, who is currently recuperating from an undisclosed illness. Now, this was during the formal taking over ceremony of the new Army Chief at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja. Amadin Uyi reports.
It is the first event of its kind in the Nigerian military. As senior military officials gathered at the defense headquarters in Abuja, the Chief of Defense Staff highlighted the reasons for the occasion.
Our brother and our friend, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, went on his leave and went for his medical checkup and had reasons to stay behind to continue to do his medical checkup. It is our prayers that he will get better, fit enough to resume back as the Chief of Army Staff. In the interim, based on the powers conferred on the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, he has decided and directed and appointed an acting Chief of Army Staff with the full powers and responsibilities of the Chief of Army Staff until the President decides otherwise.
He says that the military will remain focused in its quest to tackle insecurity, thus they need to appoint an acting Chief of Army Staff to help steer the army to achieving its core objectives.
For us as professionals, we are to continue with our task ahead. No gap to be left based on the challenges we have in the country. And it's in the wisdom of the President and Commander-in-Chief that today we present the authority to the acting Chief of Army Staff for him to have full control and command of the Nigerian Army.
The acting Chief of Army Staff called for the support of all stakeholders to succeed in his new position.
My appointment as acting Chief of Army Staff is simply to hold sway while Lieutenant General T. Lagbaja, our Chief of Army Staff, is a way to enable him to take sufficient time to get necessary medical attention and prepare. And that I intend to do with the whole of my heart and loyalty to the Constitution, as well as Mr. President. I seek everyone's support and cooperation so that we can succeed together in stemming all forms of insecurity currently being witnessed across the country and return this our beautiful country to the land of peace and economic prosperity.
With a new leadership for the Nigerian Army, many believe that the vacuum created by the absence of the Army Chief has now been closed. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
And now to election matters. Abians are going to the polls to elect chairman for the 17 local government areas and councillors for the 184 Independent National Electoral Commission INEC wards in the state on Saturday. About 18 political parties, excluding the All Progressives Congress APC as a ruling political party at the center, which withdrew from the polls, are participating in the election. To ensure a hitch-free exercise, the Abia State government announced restriction of movement of people and vehicles according and during the election. According to Oke Kanu, the State Commissioner for Information, the restriction commenced by midnight on Friday and will end by 4 p.m. on Saturday. And now to politics. Rivers State has continued to unfold with political twists and turns, with the latest coming by the call for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to hold by-elections to fill the 27 vacant seats in the State House of Assembly, resulting from alleged members' defection. At a press conference in Port Harcourt on Friday, Victor Okojobo, led Assembly Speaker, reiterated the call, pointing out that the removal of the legal impediment enabled INEC to proceed with the by-election. He noted that it is a matter of public record that Martin Amawale and 26 others Rivers State House of Assembly members defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC, on December 11, 2023, without providing any reasonable grounds. According to Okojumbo, their departure from the PDP, which had funded their election campaign, was precipitated by the lawmakers' unsuccessful bid to impeach Siminalayi Fubara, the executive governor of Rivers State, on October 30th, 2023.
That on the 11th day of December 2023, in the full view of the whole world, Honorable Martins Chike Amewule and 26 others defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressive Congress, APC, after their failed attempt to impeach the executive governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, Grand Service Star of Rivers State, on the 30th day of October 2023. Please also recall that it is the People's Democratic Party that sponsored the election of Honorable Martins Chike Amewule and 26 others in the 2023 general elections. To frustrate the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from conducting a by-election to fill the vacated seats in the Rivers State House of Assembly, Honorable Martins Chike Amewule and 26 others filed suit number FHC/ now that suit number FHC/ABJ/CS/1681/2023 has been struck out. The order of interlocutory injunction is also spent. Accordingly, as the right honorable...
The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, has lauded Interior Minister Olubunmi Tunji Ojo for new effective passport application processes aimed at supporting Nigerians abroad. NIDCOM Chair Abike Dabiri-Erewa expressed the excitement of Nigerians overseas, saying this much-needed reform will ease their passport access. NIDCOM is prepared to advocate widely, collaborating with the Ministry and Nigeria Immigration Service to keep the diaspora informed. Minister Tunji Ojo echoed the importance of partnership, announcing plans for a tripartite memorandum of understanding to improve communication with Nigerians abroad. Starting on Friday, the new contactless biometric system rolls out in Canada on November 15th. In December, It rolls out in Canada November 15th in the U.S. and December 1st globally for renewals and citizens over 18, reducing travel and accommodation costs. Nigeria's Minister of Information says that the federal government's national communication team will resume a series of town hall meetings and engagements across the country, starting from the southeast region. The minister, after a meeting with members of the federal government's national communication team comprising presidential spokesperson, special advisors on communications, and senior special assistants on communication at the Radio House in Abuja, says that the team has resolved to take the message of government's efforts and interventions to citizens across the geopolitical zones of the country.
It was a meeting of presidential spokespersons, special advisors on media, and senior special assistants on media all attached to the presidency. The Minister of Information, who had called the meeting, says that they were called to review the nation's national communication strategy. He says that efforts have been concluded to resume town hall meetings and the periodic ministerial briefings, but this time across several zones of the country, so as to update Nigerians of events by the present administration.
You know that we hold the periodic ministerial press briefings that we intend to continue with. We also want to continue with the town hall meetings that we have started. Very soon, the National Communications team will go to the southeastern part of the country to engage with Nigerians in town hall meetings so that we take to them, to their doorstep, the message of Mr. President and his government, and we also hear from them firsthand what their reaction and their observations are about policies and programs of government so that we bring it back to government. We'll go to the southeast. After that, we will go to the northeast, and we'll continue to do this in the interest of Nigerians.
The minister called on citizens to trust in the reforms process of the current administration, saying they would tackle challenges being faced by citizens.
We want to assure Nigerians once again that President Bola Tinubu's reforms, as difficult as they may appear, are aimed at ensuring that Nigerians reach this destination of prosperity that the president talks about all the time. All over the world, reforms are difficult, sometimes very difficult. Nigeria is not an exception. But I can assure you that the president is right on course. His team is very focused, is very determined to ensure that all the promises made by Mr. President to Nigerians will be kept.
He assured citizens that the federal government is committed to fulfilling the promises made to Nigerians. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Core, Africa's leading fintech infrastructure provider, is set to redefine the future of financial services across the continent. In its 2024 Nexus conference, the fintech firm brought to the fore the unique challenges faced by African economies and how innovative solutions can promote inclusive financial ecosystem for the future. News Center's business correspondent Juliet Rowland was at the event and filed in this report. Take a look.
Nexus 2024 conference themed Innovating for the Future and hosted by Core, Africa's fintech infrastructure provider. It had many innovators and industry leaders in attendance. They emphasized the critical need for digital transformation and inclusion in Africa's financial services sector. The event also centered around the evolving landscape of financial technology and its implications for economic growth across the continent.
It's a customer experience event. It's an opportunity for us to showcase technology innovation to our customers. We have a large ecosystem of customers. We believe that with these clients coming together, mingling with us, looking at our technology, looking at new innovations going into the future, they can prepare themselves. Think about what it is that they have to, their thoughts around how they're going to deliver services to their customers in the future.
Technology evolves every day, and new digital banking platforms are going to come up. New innovations are going to come. Today, everybody knows AI, and banking is gradually going into AI. For any financial institution or any bank to effectively survive in this industry in the coming years, you will need to adapt to these technologies.
A panel discussion then focused on the media's role in promoting financial literacy and facilitating the adoption of new technologies, with emphasis placed on effective storytelling methods and ethical responsibilities in influencing public perceptions.
You can talk about it in a demographic setting, about age and things, but when you look at the numbers here of how many people still remain financially excluded, it's multiplied across the continent. And so not only do we have to tell the stories, we have to set a narrative. We have to help them push the agenda.
Whenever I see news reports about a fintech going down or any other thing, but then obviously when I heard great stories like what's happening with MoneyPoint, that kind of thing. So I feel like there's, like I said, the sweet spot between really building the future of how we're telling all the stuff we're doing and telling it well.
The event showcased the unveiling of cutting-edge solutions aimed at enhancing financial services. It also provided an avenue to drive home the importance of innovation, digitalization, and sustainable banking practices that can shape Africa's financial future.
Come and just show us the kind of problems you're solving, the kind of solutions that you're implementing to solve these specific problems. And of course, we've met like a lot of very, very interesting partners, regulators, customers, all just coming to just, rub minds, network, interact, and discuss what the forefront of financial institutions will be like in the coming years.
As the foundation is being laid for digital transformation in Nigeria and by a large extent, Africa, this event not only sets the tone for new standards for the banking industry, but also paves the way for a more inclusive and resilient economic landscape.
The feminist movement has long sparked debate, with some discrediting it while others championing its cause. For young female entrepreneurs in Nigeria, feminism has become a powerful influence in shaping both their career paths and life choices. Chidima Ona of News Central dives into this topic, offering deeper insights in this report. Take a look.
There's no doubt that women are making significant strides in the corporate and business world. In Nigeria, an increasing number of women entrepreneurs are reshaping the business landscape, often driven by principles rooted in feminism. For these women, feminism is more than just a movement. It's a powerful force empowering them to overcome structural barriers and achieve lasting success.
The women that we see today and we look up to, they are our pioneers and trailblazers. They didn't sit back and wait for anybody to tell them. They went ahead and went to school and pushed for better jobs and pushed for more education and pushed for higher pay because they felt like they were worth it. They didn't wait for anybody to give it to them. So if you ask me, the biggest barriers to economic empowerment for women actually is a thing of the mind and it's systematic. You can't fight the system is there. You can only reprogram yourself and reprogram as many people as you can.
Feminism's impact on Nigerian business is increasingly clear as it enhances access to resources, drives policy changes, and bolsters support networks. Support networks now serve as a crucial foundation for women in business, providing spaces to share experiences, offer guidance, and build partnerships grounded in solidarity.
Support is key. It cannot be underemphasized or pushed aside. Support is key. These networks are very invaluable, especially in a business landscape like ours, where women are often marginalized. So when we have this support, it provides women with that resilience, that extra boost that they need to be able to navigate a complex business environment like we have here in Nigeria.
Feminism has been and can be very instrumental in raising awareness and driving policy changes that, address gender-based inequalities in Nigeria. We cannot deny the benefits of feminism to not just women entrepreneurs, but the entire, ecosystem in terms of businesses.
Many believe that feminist movements are working to make resources accessible to all women, not just the privileged few. Through this approach, Nigerian women are not only building businesses, but also fostering an ecosystem of mutual support and growth. In Lagos for News Central, I am Chidima Ona.
Botswana newly elected President Duma Boko has been sworn in as the new president of Botswana. He made his first address to the nation on Friday evening following his resounding victory in this week's parliamentary elections. President Boko expressed his gratitude to the people of Botswana for their overwhelming support, securing a significant majority of seats in the National Assembly. He highlighted his vision for a united Botswana and emphasized the importance of collaboration and inclusion, stating that his administration will work tirelessly to bring together communities from all walks of life. He further made a firm commitment to implement policies that will not only create jobs, but also ensure that future generations inherit a healthy and thriving planet.
How I feel that becoming president, it's an enormous responsibility. It's a humbling responsibility. It's a responsibility one approaches and accepts with humility, with some trepidation, feeling, I dare not fail. I dare not disappoint. And I pledge with every fiber of my being that I will do everything I can not to fail, not to disappoint, appreciating always the enormity of the responsibility bestowed upon me by the people of this republic. It is there.
And now to East Africa. Crowds queued at petrol stations in Malawi after fuel rationing was imposed this week as a lack of foreign exchange interrupted supplies. The Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority said restrictions would affect specific petrol stations and help prevent herding and black market sales. The measures were meant to ensure fair access to fuel across Malawi, but many residents and businesses are feeling the pinch. The lack of fuel has increased cost of transportation with knock-on increases for prices of essential goods and food in a country where 70% of people live in extreme poverty.
Chifukwa chibwera nabwera last week Friday. Atabwera Friday ena amene natha kupezako ndekuti tagwiritsa ntchito masiku amene wawo atiziti koma
abati lipanzere udikira mafuta filling station ya Toto tangomva kuti ata kubwera eti makhala palaini udikira mafuta akabwera akasabwera timatha kukhala pamene pa 3 days anzathu ali mafoni akuti ife timangoti akuti tekabwera akasabwera tibai.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump has called prominent Republican Liz Cheney a warmonger and accuses his rival Kamala Harris of being a candidate of endless wars. Trump made this remark during a rally in Warren, Michigan. Now, Donald Trump will face Kamala Harris in the 2024 race for the White House after Joe Biden pulled out of the race after intense pressure following his disastrous debate performance.
Many Muslim and Arab Americans are friends and family living in the Middle East, and Kamala is campaigning with warmongers like Liz Cheney. How do you think that is? They want to get the Arab American vote. They want to get the Muslim votes. So she picks Liz Cheney, whose father virtually destroyed the Middle East. Right? I don't think it's working out too well. But if you gave Liz Cheney a gun and put her into battle facing the other side with guns pointing at her, she wouldn't have the courage or the strength or the stamina to even look the enemy in the eye. She wouldn't have. She sits back in Washington, we ought to go and attack Iran, Iraq. We're going to attack everybody. That's why I broke up with her. All she wanted to do is go to war with everybody. Because she, like Kamala, is a stupid person.
Interesting times. To discuss more on how African countries might be affected by the next U.S. president after the election, we're joined by a foreign policy analyst, and that's Bola Michael B. Bola, we live in very interesting times, I would say this, and seeing comments like this from a former president of the United States, very interesting. But I have to ask you, how do you anticipate continuity or changes in U.S. foreign policy towards Africa under a potential Trump or Harris administration compared to previous administrations?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Well, I don't think there's going to be much difference in terms of foreign policy because we still, if Harris emerges, she's been a vice president all along, and definitely she has a say in the current policies of the Biden administration. But Trump, when he was president, he supported Africa, specifically Nigeria, in approving this sale of arms to help fight Boko Haram. And I think if he emerges as president again, he's going to maintain such pragmatic approach. I think his focus will be more on economic and security alliances and alliances that will give mutual benefit as against the Democratic Party's approach of developmental aid, which often comes with certain conditions. They might say, okay, for us to be able to support you in Africa, you would need to devalue your currency, or say pass a policy that supports, extreme feminism, or the LGBTQ rights, or other values that might be un-African traditionally. So I think that if Harris emerges, there won't be much difference in foreign policy, but if Trump emerges, definitely there will be a change in terms of foreign policy.
And talking of economic engagement, how might the economic policies of the next U.S. president influence, trade relations and investment opportunities for African countries, especially those that are reliant on, American investment?
Okay, I think Trump will seek to increase the competitiveness of U.S. companies in Africa. They're very strategic about their alliances. I'm talking about if Trump emerges president now. And they'll be focused on sectors such as the energy sector, mining, or tech. I think Trump is kind of big on tech now. We're talking about cryptocurrency and financial technology and all that. But if Harris emerges, there'll still be investment in energy sector of Africa as well, but it's now going to be in renewable energy. She's big on green initiative and developmental projects, and Trump talks about oil and gas and fracking and things like that. Kamala Harris is more about the green economy, the climate initiative, climate action. There's this popular discrepancy between developing the economy and the environment. There's usually the debate, because there's no way you want to develop a country without having some environmental impact. So if there's a push for environmental initiative too much, it will seem as though we don't want African countries to develop. More so, Africa contributes in negligible amounts to the climate issues right now compared to developed countries rather. So if Trump emerges, then we'll see investment in oil and gas, energy and all. But if Harris emerges, then we'll see more, there's a likelihood that we'll see more green initiatives.
And considering the sentiments by, Nigerian Americans and other African, diaspora communities, I cannot wrap my head around some Nigerians and what they support and the candidate they supported this time. But how might their influence shape the next president's foreign policy decisions towards Africa? Would there be any influence at all?
Okay, let's go to the basics. When Obama emerged president, we thought he was going to do a lot for Africa. More so, he has an African background, specifically from Kenya. But when he emerged president, didn't really do much, in my own opinion, for Africa. He didn't really meet the expectation of a majority of Africans. And in the case of Nigeria, for example, he refused to approve the sale of arms to fight Boko Haram. And it was payback time during the election, and Trump emerged president. And after that, kind of forgave the Democratic Party, and now Biden emerged. And Biden himself hasn't really done that much for African countries of Nigeria specifically. And I think this election will be another payback time for the Nigerian American community by probably electing Trump. And Trump, I think, will be quicker to support Africa in terms of issues as it relates to the economy and security. And I think these are critical issues that pertain to African countries. And I think that they will want to support a candidate that would promote Africa's economy and security. As far as Harris' policy for Africa is concerned, I think it's just going to be a continuation of what we're seeing right now, in exchange for developmental aid, in exchange for certain policies like promotion of LGBTQ rights, or devaluation of currency and things like that. I think Nigerian American community is likely to support a Republican candidate right now.
Well, it's very interesting that we have so much hope on Donald J. Trump, the same person who called Nigeria the S poll. I'll leave it there. Well, Michael, many thanks. Michael be our guest today, foreign policy analyst, talking to us about the next U.S. president and what the hopes will be for the African continent. Once again, many thanks.
Thank you.
Ademola Lookman has been named among the 10 best performing Serie A players in the opening 10 rounds of the 2024-25 season due to his consistent top draw performances for Atalanta. As reported by Fanta Calcio and cited by Football Italia on Friday, the Nigeria forward is ranked 6th with 6.64, I beg your pardon, with Fiorentina goalkeeper David De Gea in pole position with 6.86 points, according to a ranking based on average player ratings from Italian sports papers, considering footballers with at least 50% of league appearances. Lookman's Atlanta teammate Matteo Retegui, the current top scorer in Serie A, is second with 6.75 points. And in contrast, Inter Milan's Marcos Thuram, the second best scorer in the league, is ranked third with 6.7 points. Well, congratulations to him. Well, that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. President Tinubu has directed AGF to intervene, seek case file of minors charged for treason from police. The federal government has released funds for NASU salaries, retirees' benefits. And we also told you that Malawi has imposed petrol rationing following fuel shortages. Now remember that you can watch News Central wherever you are. We're on DSTV channel 422. We're also on Star Times channel 274. We're also on Apple TV. Better yet, just stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Judith, Atibi. Bye for now.